Welcome back to Beast Wars Wednesdays. I am your host, Decepticon Paul.
Whoa!
Yeah.
Does that make me
Predacon Doug.
Predacon Doug?
Yep.
Nice. Has a ring to it, you know.
Yeah.
Defying alliteration kind of ring to it.
Nah, he's Decepticon Doug.
Yeah. Phew. I
Paul.
was going through a bit of an identity crisis right there.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Your identity circuits were scrambled.
Indeed.
From the crash.
Yeah. Today we're talking about
Power Surge!
That's basically what the episode's about.
Yeah.
Guys going.
This episode starts with an eagle.
Mm-hmm. A beautiful,
Majestic bird.
a symbol of hope and peace and justice and the American way. Terrorsaur comes and eats it because he's just a dick. It's good to be a Predacon.
As he says.
He says, do a little wink to the camera. Hey, I'm a Predacon.
I'm a bad guy.
I am a bad boy. Bad. So he stumbles upon a mountain, but not just any mountain. This mountain has the unique quality of that it floats in the sky.
Which, for those of you who don't know, mountains don't do that.
This is atypical behavior for a mountain. So Terrorsaur, he just wants to check it out. And would you believe the mountain is rich with energon, just tons of huge, massive energon crystals. And he's like, this is a lot. This could power an army. I'm going to check this out. He transforms, gets a little zap on his fingers, and then he flies back and gets electrocuted. But it doesn't just electrocute him. It feeds his whole structure with power, and he becomes a hyper-powerful Terrorsaur.
Yeah. He experiences a power surge.
Cheetor watches from a distance as Terrorsaur flies by, and he's like, "Whoa!"
At Mach 13.
He's got the big fiery blast coming out of his tuchus, beelining it for the Predacon base because he's like, "Hey, I'm powerful now. Maybe my chances come."
Literally, the first thing he does is talk about how he now has the power to defeat Megatron.
Not the Maximals, Megatron, because Megatron, spoiler alert, leader of the Predacons.
Yeah.
Yeah, he wants that job. And
Better benefits. So he defeats Megatron in short order, and then he short circuits because he's running out of energy.
Yeah, so his circuits are becoming depleted.
It's a limited time frame that he has this power surge.
He needs to replenish it, and so he needs to go back to the floating mountain before he takes the rest of the Predacons to go defeat the Maximals.
Yeah. Cheetor gets back to the base, tells them about Megatron getting his ass kicked. Of course, Big Bot decides that the mountain is too dangerous to be left in the hands of the Predacons. It must be destroyed.
Rat Trap goes along with him, even though Rat Trap's like, I don't believe in floating mountains. Yeah. That's crazy. But then he goes and he's flying on top of Optimus, he's holding on for his dear life with his pink little toes. And then he sees the mountain, he's like, oh, I guess I believe in floating mountains. They arrive there just at the same time Terrorsaur does, but Terrorsaur doesn't see them. He gets his power surge back. Optimus knows that something that Terrorsaur doesn't, is that his body cannot hold a charge for that long. So he's like, well, I'm going to just have him chase me around and use up all that power trying to blow me up. And he's like, hey, Terrorsaur.
Yeah.
And Terrorsaur's like, ah! How dare you? And chases him. Well, meanwhile, Rat Trap takes the opportunity to take a little demolition charges, put him on a few key points of energon, sets the timer for as long as the rest of the episode takes, and starts heading out.
Terrorsaur short circuits again.
After taking down Optimus, he's injured and can't fly. And right before Terrorsaur scraps him, he's like, oh no! And I have to go get my power again. Rat Trap has a brief scuffle with Tarantulas because Tarantulas...
One of the best fights ever.
Tarantulas had followed Terrorsaur because he thought, you know what? Terrorsaur's not that strong. What's he up to? And so he went to go find the power source himself.
Because he wants the benefits.
He wants a friends with benefits relationship with Energon.
So Tarantulas and Rat Trap have one of the best fights ever.
Yeah,
all those weird little sound effects.
A lot of kudos to the voice actor of Tarantulas for the ridiculous noises he made for this particular episode.
Oh, it was fantastic. Alec Willows.
kudos to Alec Willows.
Okay.
I would have loved to see that work in the studio.
Yeah.
The demolition charges go off. Terrorsaur flies away. He's like, oh no, there goes my power source. Tarantulas is like, ugh, and he leaves as well. Rat Trap thinks that Optimus is dead because he saw Terrorsaur fly by. He's like, well, that's it. I'm toast too because this mountain's going sky high. But Optimus comes up and is like, hey, let's get out of here.
Jumps off the floating mountain.
Yeah, robot form's not an option because the explosion would roast his circuits. But in beast mode, he'll be okay. So they jump. Certain death is inevitable, but instead, Optimus manages to catch a branch, and he's like, I guess we're not dead.
Terrorsaur goes back to the base. Megatron's back, which he should have expected.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing happens to him.
Yeah, I mean, we can assume there's a good walloping off screen. All the punishment happens after the credits. We gotta get creative, kids. It probably happened.
Okay, so what worked with this episode?
There was a lot of development so far in the Maximal camp and the relationships in there. And I feel like this one was a much more focused episode on the Predacons.
Mm-hmm.
Particularly the scene in which Terrorsaur and Megatron fight to the death for the leadership of the Predacons. Again, we get a good sense of Tarantulas and that, like, he's clearly not invested in Megatron's best interests. He's up for power himself.
Scorponok is super, super loyal.
The moment Terrorsaur's gone, he's like, well, let's put Megatron in the repair tank.
Like, he wouldn't stand a chance against Terrorsaur with that power surge. And he still defies him, even though he just watched him blast a Megatron into pieces. And Waspinator's just Waspinator.
You're stepping in command. What is your command?
That's a really good impression.
I got Waspinator. I've had Waspinator down for years. Terrorsaur's only big treacherous move before this was the one in Equal Measures, where he was just sort of like, let's go take over the Predacons and defeat the Maximals with Dinobot. So this was sort of like that big push toward his character development.
Like on a dime. The second he gets a power surge and he detects that he's more powerful, it goes right after Megatron.
You even get a sense of Terrorsaur through a particular line of Megatrons, where Megatron says, yeah, I thought you learned your lesson last time you challenged me. We've never seen that happen in the show. So I think while other adventures were happening elsewhere, at some point Terrorsaur decided to step in and try and take over.
Pull a Starscream.
Mm-hmm, yeah. Terrorsaur really is just Starscream of the Beast Wars.
Yeah.
The similarities are... Actually, you know what? Yeah, they're really similar. They're really similar characters. I think Starscream might be a little dumber.
Yeah.
Maybe. I guess everyone needs a Starscream.
Every group has a Starscream.
Mm-hmm.
It also, like, well establishes that they're so short on manpower that, you know, Megatron can't just kill them.
That's true, yeah. Considering what Terrorsaur does to Megatron in this episode, if Megatron had any sense, he would have just finished Terrorsaur off, except for the fact that there's just too few numbers. He cannot spare the manpower.
Yeah.
He just needs Terrorsaur to just be, if anything, just be there for the Maximals to shoot at.
Or to shoot at the Maximals. And he's effective, too. I mean...
He's actually a decently powerful Predacon. He's got a lot of firepower.
Kick-ass shoulder cannons. He's got that huge scoped rifle. He's also got his little pistol, which is an effective weapon, and eye lasers.
He's loaded with firepower.
Yeah.
So you can understand why he'd want to be kept around.
And he's a flyer, too.
It's true. I think that Megatron knows he just can't have Waspinator as his only flyer. He just can't make that sacrifice.
Yeah.
Somebody needs to keep Waspinator on track.
And as treacherous as Terrorsaur is, he's an effective warrior. He's intelligent. I mean, to think on his feet.
I want to say he's tactically intelligent. He's just common sense stupid. He doesn't really understand his limitations. Another thing I like is the early episodes of Beast Wars. It does still show that the Maximals and the Predacons are kind of still setting up camp. In this case, the Predacons, this is what establishes their base defense system. Megatron's putting it together because I guess the Mega Cannon fell down or something like that. You get a sense that Megatron is coming to terms with the notion that this war might go on longer than he expected. The Maximals aren't going to be just overthrown that easy. Time to prepare for long-term combat. Those little twin cannons. Pew, 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 pew. Or it's more about kind of like an ad walker. Pew, 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 pew.
What didn't work?
I guess I kind of feel like it doesn't really advance anything. It's a bit of a filler episode.
It's an entertaining filler episode.
Yeah.
For sure.
I think I used to dislike it more as a kid. I remember like going a little bit like, I don't like that one as much because it didn't really show off too many of the characters. But I don't know. Upon further reflection, I think I kind of warmed up to it a little bit. Actually, does show a lot of the characters, at least a little bit. Nobody is gone entirely except you don't see Dinobot at all.
You know, strangely enough, this episode has always felt to me like it was too short.
Yeah, it breezes by really fast.
Yeah. It feels like filler. I mean, we just finished watching Fallen Comrades, and that one felt like a rich, full Beast Wars experience. This one, for some reason, just feels like there's something missing.
This feels a little more fluffy. There's not as much substance.
And I think the fact that Megatron was scrapped so heavily, like he got blown to bits, and they just put him back together again. It, for me, lowers the stakes a bit.
So, like, the situations aren't like life and death, really.
Yeah, I mean, I understand Waspinator, but he gets blown to bits, and that's for comedic purposes. While I get that, the fact that Megatron was blown to pieces, and then they just put him back together, for me, for some reason, just lowered the stakes a little bit.
The defense of that would be, at least he was really close to the Restoration Chamber, so it's not like the spark would extinguish in maybe that amount of time. Like, I definitely see your point, but I guess you could make the argument as like, okay, well, they salvaged him really quickly.
Yeah, they did.
He was right there.
They got right to work.
It just kind of showed that, like, okay, I mean, people can be, like, blasted to pieces and still survive. How fatal could these wars be, really?
I totally get it that Scorponok got right to work right away. But it still felt like the stakes just diminished a little bit.
So we're going to give Power Surge a 3 out of 5. Floating mountains.
Yeah. While it's not required watching with respect to the whole arc, it does layer up the characters a bit more for the Predacon side, which is something that has been sorely lacking.
It does give just little nuggets that do kind of build toward the whole general series. Thanks so much for watching. Please subscribe. Bing! Please like, give us a thumbs up. Share with any friends who you know love Transformers or Beast Wars.
Beast Wars!
And stay tuned in 2 weeks when we talk about the next episode of Fallen Comrades.
Fantastic episode.
And look it. We got a this.
Oh yeah. Check this out. A friend of mine. His name's Ryan.
Ryan, thank you. Thanks so much for watching. See you next time. And he stumbles upon a mountain. Whoa, he stumbles upon a mountain.